In the world of work and life, we're always told there are two types of people, leaders and followers. But the truth is that each of us is a blend of these different ways of being, and we can tap into these diverse traits as needed. In a job interview, though, while you'll rarely be asked about your following abilities, you will likely be asked about your leadership abilities. Whether you are interviewing for a position as an actual leader, be it management or the C-suite, or you are in line for a position that's a bit lower on the totem pole, leadership still comes into play. You may be supervising others, directing specific tasks or projects, or be in a position to influence others. All require leadership abilities. Here are some of the questions you may be asked in an interview that will share the ways you are a leader. Employers will often jump right in and get to the heart of the matter by asking specifically about how you lead others. Ideally, you'll have a structure to the way you influence and guide others, as opposed to something not quite as tangible. Common types of leadership approaches include servant or participative leadership, visionary leadership, coaching leadership, hands-off leadership, transformational leadership, authoritarian leadership, delegative leadership. You may find that on their website or on individuals' LinkedIn profiles. If the language of the company site sounds wildly different from the way you've successfully developed your leadership abilities, that could be an indicator that your styles won't mix well. An interview committee may ask about your leadership style directly, how your employees view your style, or even both questions to compare how you see yourself versus the way others see you. When they ask about the way your leadership abilities are perceived, it's a great time to throw in some of your strengths and challenges as a leader. Perhaps you've received awards or commendations for your management, or maybe you're working through something you've learned along the way. All this information is valuable to share with a potential employer because it shines a light on your talents while making you appear somewhat vulnerable, which is always a welcome trait in leaders. Great leaders tend to continually educate themselves on the topic of leadership. If you are among them, you are probably in the middle of another book on how to improve your leadership abilities. Whether it's a dog-eared copy of your favorite or an audiobook you're listening to on your morning run, be prepared to provide not only the title of your favorite leadership book, but why it's at the top of your list as well. This will help the interview committee see that you are committed to lifelong learning and where your interests in leadership lie. If you need some inspiration, conduct an online search. No doubt you'll find titles that resonate with you. With only 1/3 of the workforce considered actively engaged, it's no wonder that any company looking to hire individuals with leadership abilities will be curious about the way they motivate others. All good leaders are supported by their teams, and teams only follow strong, motivational leaders. Are you one? Start to think about how you have kept people engaged, or even turn them around from disengaged and unmotivated to being fully present members of the team. Such work typically starts with developing goals that are clearly communicated, supporting an environment of teamwork and collaboration, creating a safe, happy work environment where employees want to be, even if they're remote, and providing feedback and recognition, as well as opportunities for personal and professional development. When it comes to engaging and motivating employees, it's much more effective in a culture of support. A well-established organization will already have a foundational culture and will ask questions of you to determine how you've been able to embody the corporate culture at past employers. If you are interviewing with a startup, they may be hiring you to help define and launch their culture. Either way, by sharing a story about your leadership abilities in the realm of the corporate culture, even if it was just being a champion of the cause, you'll help a future employer learn more about how you can propel their mission and vision forward. Project management is part of every leader's agenda, whether it's a small, short-term project or something that encompasses several departments and lasts for months or years. Projects usually represent an investment of time and money, so companies are looking to hire managers who possess the leadership abilities needed to push projects to completion. If possible, tie together how you brought the team together on a project while adhering to timelines and budgets. Companies like to know that their management team is aware of the bottom line. Answering questions about your leadership abilities is just like answering any other interview question. Your best bet is obviously to prepare your responses ahead of time as much as you can without being psychic. And the best way to answer any interview questions is with stories. Fact tell, stories sell is a well-known statement in the world of sales. Of course, as you are interviewing for a new position, you are selling yourself, which is why stories are so impactful. Interviewers aren't going to ask, "Tell me a story about," but that doesn't mean they don't want to hear stories more than they want to hear straight up facts. Refer to our lesson on using storytelling in interviews to get ideas on how you can develop your stories. It doesn't matter if you're looking for an entry-level role, something in middle management, or a strategic C-suite position. Every person on the team is called to be a leader at one point or another. That's why questions about your leadership abilities are so important in an interview. To determine if you have what it takes to manage teams, interviewers are likely to ask questions such as, how would you describe your leadership style? How would your team describe your leadership abilities? What's the best leadership book you've read? What approaches do you use to motivate members of your team? Describe your experience developing and supporting a corporate culture. How have you kept projects on schedule and pushed them through the finish line? Frame your answer as stories, which highlight not only your leadership abilities, but also your approachability and ability to relate to others. With a little preparation, you'll show the interview committee that you're ready for any challenge.